Okay, well, gonna read Daniel chapter 4 here. So let's get with it here. Just a second here. Got to get this sharing going. I did 1 through 3 on mornings in the Word for this date, 1/16/26. Um, let's see here. Okay, share. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna sneeze. Just a second. Okay, had myself a good sneeze. So now we're going to go to Daniel chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all the people and nations and languages that dwell on all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that God has wrought toward me. I think I read chapter 3. Let me go back there and make sure. Oh, I didn't get to the rest of it, I don't think. Let's just go ahead and start in chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. I looked that up, it was 90 feet high. Then Nebuchadnezzar king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, all those government officials, the sheriffs and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers and the counselors and the sheriffs and all the rulers of the provinces. And you got to remember who was part of that. How about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the three Jewish young men that Daniel had set up over those provinces? Um, And anyway, they all came to the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. And they stood up before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, sackbut, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, the band, you shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had, the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said unto King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falls not down and worships the golden worships, that he shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the provinces of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They served not thy gods, nor worshiped the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they brought these men before, then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Do you not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, that at what time you shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if you worship not, you shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And if he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spoke and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. These men were bound in their coats, their hose, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spoke and said to his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, or like a Son of God, meaning an angel. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near unto the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, captains, and king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was there a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God. Wow. Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Well, well, well. Chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders! His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar was at rest. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Lord, if this is written somewhere on a clay tablet or roller or whatever they did, I pray, O Lord God, that it be found, Lord, and revealed to mankind. Then came the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, the soothsayers, and I told them the dream before them. But they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But at last, oh, here it says, here he's saying he told the dream, but he didn't. But at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the... See, he's trying to pawn himself off as being better than he was. Because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. He just lied. Thus were the visions of, this is Nebuchadnezzar telling his version, and he just lied. Thus were the visions of my head and my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth. And oh, well, this is a different dream. So he isn't lying. This is a different dream. Okay, so this comes after the initial vision. All righty then. O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. I thought he was going to be telling the original dream, but this is a different one. In the original dream, it wasn't a tree. So this must have been after all that. Okay, my mistake. Oh, Belteshazzar. There's that name again. Remember that. Master of the magicians, because I know. See, Daniel's name, Babylonian name, was Belteshazzar, as given to him by the eunuch that was in charge of them. Oh, Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Why did he know it? He knew it from that first dream that Daniel interpreted, where he wouldn't tell the wise men the dream. He said, you're either going to tell me the dream and the interpretation, or I'm going to have your houses be made a dunghill. So anyway, so this is the second dream. Okay. O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy God is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions in my head, in my bed I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had a shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwell in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, a holy one. That's a demon, by the way. Well, this one says holy one, so maybe this one was okay. Well, says holy, so this wasn't an evil one, I guess. Uh, I had assumed all watchers were necessarily unholy. But anyway, a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off its branches, shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Interesting. Just a minute. Let his heart be changed from a man's, and let a beast's heart be given to him, and let 7 times pass over him. A time is a year, by the way. Times time and a half of time. This, maybe. This matter is by decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones. To the intent, maybe a watcher and a holy one is different. I'm not sure. To the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomsoever he will and sets up over it the basest of men. This dream I, Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, Daniel, declare the interpretation thereof, forasmuch as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation. But thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. And his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. That's why I say it was from devils. They may have seemed holy, but they weren't. The tree that you saw which grew was strong, whose height reached into heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth. Whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under the which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king, thou art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reached into heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw a watcher, maybe this is 2 different ones. Maybe the watcher is a demon and a holy one is an angel. I don't know. Coming down from heaven and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it. This is something devils would do. But they were all once holy, right? Yet leave the stump of its roots thereof in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which shall come upon my lord the king. They shall drive thee from men, And thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as an oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomsoever he will. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, the kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Whereof, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. All this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar. And at the end of 12 months, oh, it didn't happen right away. He walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spoke and said, is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty? While the word was yet in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as an oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar. And he was driven from men and did eat grass as an oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagles' feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up my eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that lives forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. And he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say unto him, what doest thou? At that same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellency of majesty was added unto me. Okay, I want to read that again. And at the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my honor, my brightness returned unto me, and my counselors, my lord, sought me, and I was established in my kingdom, and the excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. There we go. Don't want to walk in pride. Me, I did this. Me. See, they want to get you to think that way so that they can harm you, get a judgment against you. Okay, talked to my son there. Okay, that pride thing. Chapter 5. Belteshazzar, the king, made a great feast. Now, here's what's interesting. Belteshazzar is the son of Nebuchadnezzar. How do you think it came to be that King Nebuchadnezzar named his son Belteshazzar? He named his son after Daniel, who is Belteshazzar. This is no accident. He so admired Daniel and appreciated what he had done and who he was that when he had a son that was going to be his heir, he named him Belteshazzar. Or wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. That's Belshazzar. Let's look at Daniel's name. I could have been thinking, I just come up with this idea here recently. Now, Daniel, whose name was, oh, nope, I'm wrong. Wrong as rain. See, Belteshazzar. Okay, let's go. See, I got to thinking about this. See, there's Belteshazzar. I was wrong. This is how you continue to learn the word. His name is Belshazzar, named after their god. But I was thinking, well, maybe Nebuchadnezzar liked Daniel so much he thought, I'm going to name my kid after you. You know, it's not out of the pale. But I'm wrong because it's not Belteshazzar, it's Belshazzar. Okay, so he is king while his father's out eating grass like an ox. Okay, Belteshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring, the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines might drink therein. See, in chapter 1, it talks about when Nebuchadnezzar came and took the kingdom of Judah captive, King Jehoiakim captive. And it says, and they took part of all the vessels of the temple, the house of God, to their kingdom and Babylon and put it in the house of their God. So these are things that were put in the house of their God. And his father never would have done this. Okay. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives and his concubines, drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass and iron and wood and stone. In the same hour came forth the fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. So they're seeing just a hand, okay, writing on the wall. No person, just a hand writing into hard plaster. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loin were loose. You know what that means? His knees were shaken. He might have pooped his pants as well. And his knees smote together, one against another. I had that happen to me one time. Uh, it was so weird. I'm glad I had a dress on. Okay, I was dressed. It was the first time I sang in front of a crowd of people and played a guitar. My knees were smoting together. Yeah, I remember that. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spoke and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men and all the king's horses. No, But they could not read the writing nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let the countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom King Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. Forasmuch as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king, Belshazzar, took and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry, out of Judah? I have even heard of thee that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that the light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. In other words, I don't want anything for doing this, folks. Yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation. That's just awesome. I've got to read that again. Then Daniel answered and said, Before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he slew, and whom he would, he kept alive. Yeah, whom he would, he slew, and whom he would, he kept alive. And whom he would, he set up, and whom he would, he put down. And this is an example of what God also is like, my friends. And when his heart was lifted up, of course, that's not God, his heart ain't lifted up. Um, but when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like to a beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appoints over it whomsoever he will. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and of gold and of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose thy hand thy breath is, and the God in whose hand thy breath is. God breathed into man the breath of life. Man became a living soul. And whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified? Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet. He's going to give him gifts anyway to try and, maybe it'll change. And put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. How about that? Wow. All because he didn't give God the glory. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. So he's 62 years old. Darius the Mede. And it pleased Darius to set up we're in chapter 6. And it pleased Darius to set up over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts to them, and that the king should have no damage. Good stewards over the kingdom. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find no occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. He's a good steward, did his job well. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Oh, aren't they just trying to do all that today? You know. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, the counselors, the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into a den of lions. Sheesh. What a bunch of lowlifes these people are, right? Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alters not, which is a stupid law, by the way. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Well, okay. Now, when Darius knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in the chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knee 3 times Daniel. Why did I? Okay. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber. See, they knew he prayed like this, right? It was his habit to pray 3 times a day towards Jerusalem. Eh. his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. He ain't going to change. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplications before his God. Then they came near and spake to the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or a man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alters not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regards not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased, unlike Nebuchadnezzar, who was mad at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This king is displeased with himself. I mean, what a man that guy was, right? And he set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Oh, that's cute. Oh, yeah. Candle holder. Oh, okay. Nobody. Oh, nope. I'm reading the Bible with me. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king, see, that's why Jesus said in the end of days, you're to pray to be accounted worthy that you might escape all the things that come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. Our God is able to deliver us out of any and every situation. Okay, the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. How about that? Fasting and praying. If he's fasting, he's praying. He's asking God to deliver these men or to deliver Daniel. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. See, now this, I got to find out who this Darius is. Is he the son of Ahasuerus and Esther? Hmm. Then the king rose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spoke and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, in whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then Daniel said unto the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and has shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. See there? That's awesome. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, their wives, and the lions had mastery of them and break all their bones in pieces. or ever they came before they even came to the bottom of the den. So must have been a lot of lions and they were hungry. Then King Darius wrote unto all the people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivers and rescues and works signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Chapter 7. Well, I need to drink some water and take a break. So I'm going to end here on chapter 7, and I will do another. Actually, this is Zoom, but then I record it on YouTube here. And so here, sometime today, I will do the next 6 chapters. Okay.